Let me tell you about one of the weirdest flipping foster placements I ever lived in. I don't know about other foster children, but whenever I was moved to a new foster placement, I was not given much information about the foster carer at all. All I would be told is the foster carer's name, where they live, and if they had any other children in the house. So this foster placement was with a woman who we will call Kemi. Kemi lived in South Norwood and she had her own 7-year-old daughter. Within 1 minute of the social worker dropping me off at this placement, the social worker left. So Kemi lived in, it was in a tower block and it was a 2-bedroom flat. Outside of the tower block, in my opinion, was really ugly, but I thought the inside would be a lot nicer. One of the rules of being a foster carer is you have to have a spare bedroom for the foster child. The foster child has to have their own room. The thing was, Kemi, like I said, she lived in a 2-bedroom flat. So to be able to keep the rule of me, the foster child, having her own room, I got Kemi's daughter's bedroom. I got the 7-year-old daughter's bedroom. So her daughter, we'll call her Lily. Lily had moved into her mum's room and was now going to be sleeping in her mum's bed, which of course was nothing to do with me. It wasn't my fault, but at the time I felt really bad. I kind of felt like it was my fault. Like if I wasn't here, this girl would get her own room. I also want to say the daughter's bedroom really concerned me. The walls were pink, right? This cute little baby pink colour. There was like a floor length mirror that was like glued to the wall, but it was smashed up. I don't think the little girl smashed it up. I know Kemi had fostered other people before me, so I'm assuming that this was happening all the time. Whenever a new foster kid would come in, Lily would move to her mum's bedroom. So I think a foster child might have smashed this mirror, but there was like blood on the floor, like dried blood caked into the carpet. There were no curtains in the bedroom. I ended up using towels as curtains. The bed was a bunk bed, but the top bunk was broken. So I would lie in the bottom bunk and the top bunk, these broken slats would just hang over my head. I don't know how social services allowed Kemi's real daughter to sleep in there, let alone a foster child, but that's what happened. But the crazy thing as well is 3 hours after I moved in, Kemi asked me for my passport. Now, I did have a passport, as in one existed, but I didn't have it on me. My mum had my passport. I said that to Kemi. I said, I've got one, but my mum has it. Why do you need it? Do you know what Kemi said? So I can get a bigger flat. Listen, I get it. If you are fostering and you already have one of your own children, I get it. You want a bigger house. But please, if you're a foster carer, do not talk to that foster child within 2 hours of them living there about how you want a bigger house. Because all it did was make me feel used. It made me feel like this woman is only fostering so she can get a bigger house. And not just a bigger house, but honestly, just a different house. Because where she lived, it was, so I said it was in South Norwood. This particular tower block has been in the news a lot for the last 2 years. Well, I say a lot, not like loads, but it's been mentioned on the news because it's shit. Loads of mold, so much damp, like it's been on the news because so many residents have complained about it. So I don't even think she necessarily wanted a bigger place, she just wanted a different place. And I felt like she wanted to use me for that. I'm not saying that's why she fostered, but if she was going to get a bigger place, foster care was definitely a way that she was going to try and do that. An hour later, I texted my mum and I said, if anyone asks you for my passport, social worker, foster care, if anyone asks you for it, please don't give it to them. And she responded and she said, I won't. She said, you can have it. I don't need it. I won't give it to anyone. And it's funny because I stopped living in that foster placement about 3 months later. Could you imagine if I was the reason she managed to get a new house and then within 3 months, I wasn't even allowed to live in that house? I don't know, maybe she fostered kids after me and she did manage to get a bigger place, but I'm glad I'm not the reason she did. Like I said, I get it. I know she'd want her daughter to have her own room and a foster child to have their own room, but since I'm a parent, I just couldn't do it. My daughter has her own room and listen, I would love to foster one day, but I would not move my daughter into my bedroom in able to do that because I think that's unfair on my own child. I don't know. I also felt like even if she gets a bigger house, like, will she buy curtains for that house? Because she hasn't for this one. Will I get a new bed? Because this one's broken.